Vanger.
Rhankit.
Skyban.
Bro, fucking bits. Of course.
Humpers.
Vangrace.
Rhankit.
Mm. Ben Silver now.
Humpers pick.
Pick Viola.
Rhankit pick.
Pedal. And then and 'Baron.
Humpers bad. Ten seconds.
Vanlands.
And pick. Ten seconds.
Gwen.
Rhankit pick.
Kestrel and all right, Lyra.
All right. Humpers, round it out for us.
Okay, I'm not the troll. Pick Grumjaw.
This is quite a difference than what we saw in the last series. What do you think about these picks?
Well, first time Viola. We're finally gonna see how she plays. I'm really iffy about her. Like on one hand, she's obviously really strong, but if her teammates get countered enough, then she's just like another sitting duck, to be honest. But I do like the Grumjaw pick. It's just very different. First time in this tourney that we see a Grumjaw. I'm sure we know all about that hero. So I'm pretty excited, especially about the early and mid game when Grumjaw is at his strongest.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. One thing that I noticed is that on the side of Rhankit, the Petal, Kestrel, Lyra, we've seen all three of those heroes, and on the Humpers, Viola, Gwen, Grumshot, we've seen none of those heroes. So it's going to be a little bit of an interesting thing. Petal's pretty strong early, but nobody beats Grumpjaw in those first, say, 8 levels of the game.
Yep. Depends on the hero. I think maybe a Sky perhaps, but that could be debated as well. But the main difference is how they play as a team, and I think, uh, yeah, it really depends on Rankit because I feel like they have the overall better comp.
I'm going to have
They
to
have
agree with that. Like, if you're going to go from the side of Humpers, it seems like what they're going for here is use Grumpjaw in the beginning to kind of get Gwen into that late game. But Gwen just doesn't offer very much, especially compared to a Petal, who's a direct, is always a big threat early on in the game. And then the Kestrel early game, we all know what that's like. So I think that Rhankit, even with the Viola, is going to have a much stronger early and mid game.
Yep, I think so too. And if something happens, the Viola can definitely do some big plays here, or be it sleeps or be it something else, maybe cleanse. The Kestrel bees, I could see that. Uh, yeah, but it's good that you have somebody tanky like a Grumpjaw who's gonna face tank first, and then you can barrier them as a Viola, and that's gonna be much easier because Viola is not the tankiest here in the game. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's right. She's not that much of the tank. They're going to be using Grumpjaw for that tank along with the barriers, like you were saying, from the Viola. We're just going to have to see. These are very interesting drafts. I didn't expect to see a Gwen Grumpjaw Viola come out, to be quite honest. So I'm not entirely sure what to think about that. But what I do know is I think that especially if you start getting a little bit into that later game, I think with the Kestrel. Well, I don't know. I was going to say maybe Rhankit has the stronger late game, but Gwen gets pretty strong later on too, and then those Viola barriers get quite stupid.
Yep, I have to agree. I think both teams have drafted relatively evenly, but it's just the Grumpjaw, right? How hard is he gonna fall off the cliff?
Yeah,
That is the question.
that's right.
Because we know he will. It's just how hard. When the draft's more even this way, the games are much more enjoyable.
I agree.
And yeah, when it's just a draft and even if the skill of the players is relatively even, sometimes the draft can just make things look like a tier 4 game.
Yep. Well, that's exactly right. However, I do just have to mention that in tier 4 games you never see those snowballs. It still does require higher level players in order to execute on the draft, even if it is a big diff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go. It looks like we are just about to get into this game, and I wanted to just follow up on what you said about that Grumpjaw potentially falling off a cliff. If it does get too much into that late game, what I would really like Grumpjaw to do is transition maybe a little bit into just being tanky. He doesn't have to output damage. He can just let Gwen do all the damage, and he just needs to be a big fat tank sitting in the front line if it does start to get into that little bit of a later game.
I think so too, yeah. Definitely late game, Gwen is going to be the win condition, putting the damage out, and just Grumpjaw being there, helping Gwen to do as much damage as she can.
Yeah, that's right.
But early game, it's definitely the other way around. Gwen is not going to be carrying the match by herself, but a Grumpjaw has very good potential. That's pretty strong, but yeah, I don't think it's that much of a beast pick unless you're sure you're gonna snowball.
Yeah. Well,
we'll
I
have to
think
see.
that's exactly what they're going to try to do. And one thing we also haven't talked about is that level 6 Grumpjaw eat. It's completely oppressive. If he lands that eat onto, say, the Kestrel, that's going to be something where they're just going to be able to get it kills every single time he lands one of those.
Look at this. Team Humpers being very confident. They have a Grump. They know what they can do.
Very, very aggressive. However, the Petal and the Kestrel are there, but look at this damage the Grumpjaw is able to put out. He doesn't even have his level 2 yet. That's just his dash going in and getting a little bit of slow and a couple basic attacks and almost completely chunking out an entire health bar. Wait in just a moment when he gets this level 2, and I'm expecting Grumpjaw to just be living in that enemy jungle.
That was a beautiful A ability, gotta say, from Grump, hitting, I think, all 3 people there. Huge amount of damage going out. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
now that the first rotation has come out, right? We want to see how they will continue to keep this momentum up. We see Ultia here. Yes, there we go. This is what we want. We want straight aggression, continued aggression towards the enemy jungle.
And
Uh,
he gets it. Oh no, that has to feel really bad. That was a really good grumpy from the Grumpjaw. Just using that A ability to steal the front treant, and now look, he's not even taking any damage with those Viola barriers. And there's another grumpy going. It gets right onto Fierce. He doesn't even pop his B yet. He's saving that. In case he needs to use it to do a little bit of extra damage. He gets the other healing treant. They're taking these backs. They don't even care. It looks like one of the backs might have been stolen. I couldn't see who that went down to. And now they're just going to slowly back out. If they get chased, though, Grumpjaw can just turn right back around. And there it is. Just one basic attack does a giant chunk of health. And meanwhile, these barriers coming from the Viola, it's like having a barrier bot on your team.
that is just so much pressure, honestly. But it is, of course, it is expected. We know it's a Grump, a huge amount of pressure. So it's all about the question of when he falls off, how much of a difference that is going to be. I think streams, something happened.
Yeah, I think we got it back here. I'm just going to switch over to watching Mizu's stream. It seems to be a little bit more stable. Sorry, we're having a couple of technical difficulties here, folks. But yeah, so there we go. Grumpjaw is now just rotating through his own back jungle. I think this is actually a good decision. He still hasn't shopped. You would kind of like to see him continue that pressure into the enemy jungle, but now that's going to be 2 buys going on the side of Rhankit, and the Grumpjaw is just going to take his own back jungle, and now this is when you want to see a Storm Crown. Get it when you're ahead. Get it when you're going to be able to keep going in and invading that enemy jungle.
Yep. If you're on the side of Rhankit, you just don't want to give any more kills. You don't want to give them big space to snowball. Yes, you would want to give him respect because it is a Grumpjaw, but regardless, if he can just, don't get into a snowball, but just don't give any kills either. If you can balance that and just wait till late game, then I think Team Rhankit has a chance.
Yep, that's exactly right, Gumpy. Meanwhile, Grumpjaw is going for another invade on the enemy jungle. He is seen out by bits, but he's able to just turn around. He has absolutely no health taken down. A Crucible comes out that early from Kosame. He's just terrified from the eat that the Grumpjaw goes through, from the Hangry, which does end up missing since the Crucible comes out. He uses the Grumpy to go back into lane, and right now there's just total control coming out from the side of Rhankit. Or sorry,
Yep.
the side of
If you're
Humpers. My bad, Humpers.
So if you're on the team of Humpers, right, time is not necessarily on your side if you're a Grumpjaw. So perhaps giving jungle every now and then to the Gwen, I think it could actually work. Because Grump, he's still gonna be strong for a couple of levels, for sure. As good bulwark from the Lyra to stop the what is that?
The
Is that
Grumpy.
the Hangry?
The Grumpy.
The Grumpy, yeah. And then so another jungle treant being taken, which is I think it's fine.
Well,
Considering, of course, the Grump.
Gumpy, what we see here is that the Grumpjaw is going for that complete utility build. Another great bright bulwark coming out to stop the Grumpy from the Grumpjaw, but the Grumpjaw is just doing a little bit of extra damage, and you can see everybody's being a little bit scared. The Viola's super low, so they can't really. They have to be careful with that Viola that she doesn't end up getting caught out, because that's all your barriers. It's interesting here because Grumpjaw got his Storm Crown, and he has the War Treads, and he's got these 2 items, and now has suddenly stopped all of the aggression into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, they are 2k ahead, so perhaps a gold miner pretty soon, because you have that Storm Crown. If you started gold miner, you could just last hit the gold miner and get a lot of gold that way too. So I would want to see a little bit more aggression. But we can see the metal jacket. Grunt is going all utility.
Look at this. Now the bit is trying to use the petal seeds, the Bramble seeds, to get explosions, but a beautiful sleep coming out from the Viola, but it doesn't matter. The Grumpjaw just goes right through that portal and ends up getting the kill onto the petal, finishes it off. Grumpjaw almost got the kill by himself, but the team did a perfect rotation down, and now this is just going to be a free gold miner.
There we go. That's exactly what they want. Get the eat, right? With Grumpjaw, use that eat to get a kill, and then get gold miner as well. And this should be pretty... There we go. One shot, one kill. Does connect, but not enough.
Thank you, Kestrel.
And that is 1,200 gold. Yeah.
Kestrel playing for the enemy team there just for a moment to help them take that gold miner a little bit faster. So now the Grumpjaw does go through. What do you think about this itemization coming through? Talk a little bit about that on both sides.
So you're saying Grumpjaw?
Sure, yeah.
Well, I think it's fine, right? Because Gwen is going to be your late game carry anyway. So as long as you can get some kills, get ahead, which they have done, get a kill, get gold miner. It's really like up to the Viola and the Gwen, right? And you just want to be there, get some picks, play for picks. You have that eat up, and yeah, I think just going Atlas and all that, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I quite like that onto the Grumpjaw, and you can just see that the side of Rhankit seems like they don't really know what to do here. They're kind of just posturing around lane, going down a little bit, maybe taking a few minions, but beyond that, they're not really doing too much. Maybe they feel that they can win the late game once Grumpjaw starts to fall off, so they're just trying to survive until then. But you see the Grumpjaw going with a big Grumpy. The Bright Bulwark didn't stop that when the War Treads come through. They're diving super deep, and we do see the sleep come through from the Viola, but it ends up no kills ever happening. Maybe a little bit of a wasted engage there as everybody ends up living. Oh, but now the teams are turning around. Rhankit is chasing. The petal is landing those slows of the Grumpjaw. Grumpjaw's maybe just starting to fall off a tiny bit here as we approach the 8th minute of the game, but no, everybody does end up living, and we're just going to move on to the next thing. Grumpjaw gets back into the jungle.
That was, I think that was well played from either side of the team. I think, though, that maybe Team Humpers could have done a little bit better in terms of coordination. Maybe the Viola sleep come out a little bit sooner, or perhaps something else. Also, Viola and Gwen kind of being caught out, but I think they should be fine. No.
Oh!
Yes.
Yes, it was so close. The Kestrel arrows are just landing one after another. The petal is on top of the Gwen, but Gwen does manage to get out eventually. Grumpjaw is rotating back up to lane to try to save the turret, but the first objective, besides the gold miner, the first turret ends up going to the side of the Rhankit. That's not something that I expected to see.
Yeah, especially as we now go into late game, right? It's going to be, again, the Gwen. How much worth can she give while the Grumpjaw just, plays for picks? The eat, the slows. He's just sort of going to be like a sitting duck, more or less, and maybe even give free stacks, depending on his positioning.
Yeah, well, the Grumpjaw, you can see the next item, which I love. It's one of my favorite items of the game, is the Shiver Steel coming through. It provides a little bit of tank in the attack speed, but the slows. You're going to see him going on to the Kestrel with that, and hopefully the Viola barriers can land and keep him a little bit tanky, and the Gwen can go in, and with that Shiver Steel landed onto the Kestrel. If they can burst down the Kestrel, the Petal and the Lyra are going to be absolutely no problem for that Gwen to just rip through.
There we go. This is very good. I would hope for them have the sleep ready, perhaps, and then just go for gold miner. Again, you have the Storm Crown, you have the lead, and might as well. It's just free anyway at this point.
Yep, there it is. They do go for the gold miner. The Grumpjaw is going to go for an eat there, and there it is. It lands onto the Lyra. Now, the Lyra portal is up, so she's going to be able to get out if she wants, but the sleep comes through. She instantly portals out and is healed up by the petal. It was really clean fought by both sides. That's not the one that you want to eat, and Grumpjaw ends up taking a whole bunch of damage during that fight. The heals are very, very strong on the side of Rhankit. We've seen this Lyra Petal combo before. If you don't burst somebody down instantly, then you're going to lose all of those extended team fights.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, the Spellfire, not the Spellfire, just the Mortal Wound application on Team Humpers is not that great, right? Grumpjaw isn't going to give anything, and opposed to somebody like, say, Samuel, who has great Mortal Wound application, right? This doesn't counter Lyra as well, so that is something I feel is sort of lost out on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, Gumpy. There's not really any Mortal Wounds the Grumpjaw's not going to get it. Well, he might be working towards a Shiver Shield now because it seems like they finally realized that they need it, but that's going to be like a last item. The first turret is finally going to go down, but that's okay as long as nobody dies. Who did he end up eating there? It's a little bit hard to tell with the pixelated... Oh, okay, he does go ahead and eat Delilah once again, who doesn't have a portal to get out this time, and so she goes down with that Shiver Steel just slowing her. She's not able to move. And now Kestrel's mispositioned. She goes down too. It's only the Petal left. Those are pretty long death timers. It looks like finally the Humpers were able to get a good engage, get some eats off, and get a couple kills, and maybe they're going to get back on top here as the Kraken is looking to spawn in 20 seconds.
Well, that is what we want, the Gwen, or that is what Team Humpers wants. They want the Gwen to get more gold, and yeah, it's looking pretty nicely. The late game, though, I think is still uncertain, but for now, Team Humpers seem slightly the more confident and comfortable team at this point.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's only one turret down for each side, which means it's almost definitely going to take 2 Kraken pushes to get through that, which, again, doesn't spell too good for the side of Humpers. But, you know, I do like the build going for just complete tank. Kestrel, meanwhile, is getting pretty strong as we get into the late game. Petal is just kind of doing her thing. She's going to be fine if she's just kind of sitting back, throwing seeds down, and helping heal up that Kestrel.
Yep, very much so. So now for the team of Humpers, right? The Kraken's up. Maybe just be more aggressive. Maybe forceify taking Kraken. Maybe if it's not even a complete take of the Kraken, but just force them to engage. Because you have that upper hand.
And here we go. A
as
team
they do
fight's
right now.
breaking out. The Crucible comes through to try to get the Kestrel out. And then we have another sleep. The Crucible's not up, so they're going to be drowsy. They are going to be asleep. The Grumpjaw's just staying, tanking turret shot after turret shot, but it doesn't matter. They're not able to kill the Kestrel, but no, Kestrel and Petal both go down concurrently. And the Grumpjaw even lives after tanking about 6 or 7 turret shots. There's an ace coming through. That was an absolutely beautiful engage from the side of Humpers.
Well, man, that's survivability. Like, Grumja just taking turrets for days, as if it's not even there at all. And then plus, of course, Viola, with her barriers. Yeah, it just makes Grumja a monster of a front line. Gwen has all the time in the world to just do damage as much as she wants to. And now this Kraken, it's basically going to be just free.
Yeah, there could be a miracle one-shot, one-kill coming through, but barring that, it's going to be completely free. I do see a Serpent's Mask coming through on the Grumpjaw. I was expecting a Poison Shiv. But perhaps Ultia knows something that we don't.
But oh no, and of course the one shot, one kill, it does not connect. They have no vision in that bush. And yeah, it was a good try. I think as a Kestrel player, just trying anything, it's a steal is always satisfying. But it wasn't meant to be this time. And now it's a great engage, a great push. They would probably want to just go down like through the sentry and then just try to push as much as you can.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So they got the two first turrets. They're down. Everybody's here for the Kraken push. So now this is that choke point turret. And Grumpjaw's not even waiting for that to go down. He's just instantly engaging. He knows who he wants to eat. It's not blocked. He ends up eating the Kestrel, and then he spits her right back out. She's just going to instantly go down. The Crucible comes out to make sure that everybody lives, and that's the first turret. The Kestrel goes down. That might just be the game, Gumpy.
Yeah, I think so too. Petal just can't do much, and the Kraken's still at decent health. I think this is game.
There it is.
Right here.
Both the base turrets go down. Well, finally they do get a shutdown onto the Gwen, but it absolutely doesn't matter. The Kraken's just wailing way onto the base. The Petal was trying to do everything that she could do, but she died. The Lyra is still there, and it turns out that this is going to be a 1-0 lead for the side of Humpers in this best-of-3 series. Go ahead.
Vainglory.
And Rhankit.
I can hear properly. Did Kosami pick?
Kosami picked Viola.
Okay, Ben Sky.
Dan Petal.
Okay. And Bits pick.
Grace.
Pick Lance.
And bam.
Uh,
5 seconds.
Thank Astral.
And Rhankit, bam.
Ben Silver now.
And pick.
And pick Kinetic.
Okay.
Kosame. 2 picks.
Pick Rona, pick Reza.
And Rhankit, round it out.
Okay.
Sorry, Bits.
Give me Rhyme.
Alrighty.
I like how the Reza pick was really quick. They had decided on it right away. I don't know who to favor here, because Grace and Rhyme, obviously, that's a lot of, stuns and all that stuff. And against the Reza, he's not gonna burst Rhyme anytime soon. And honestly, I don't know, it really depends on who gets ahead. If Reza gets ahead, he might have a chance. Otherwise, I think Rhyme is pretty decent here as well. The Rona, though, and the Lance, they're much more of an aggressive comp, and I think that Kinetic specifically is not gonna like it too much, but she has good utility from the Grace, from the Rhyme, to Kite, if it comes to that. So I think overall this will be much more of a team play again, more than just like draft.
Yeah, I think so. We've seen what Amato can do on Rona before. It's gonna be a pretty interesting one. What do you think happens level 1 here?
That is interesting. We know Grace Lance both really strong. However, I feel they're both just gonna try to go for elders and then not contest more. That could be one of the possibilities. And then I think a mid game is gonna be the most important part. Once Reza and Rona, they both get their ultimates, and then of course Ryan getting his power spike. That's gonna be the most interesting phase of the match.
Mm-hmm. So give me one moment here. I'm just getting some stuff set up. Sorry about that, Gumpy. Just keep talking. I'll join you in just a second.
Yeah. So how's the weather? Pretty nice out here. Almost snowing in Canada.
How about late game, Gumpy? What happens late game?
Oof. Late game. It's really gonna be. It's just gonna be a match of mechanics and positioning. I feel. If Team Ranked can play well, if they can kite for Kinetic, and if they can catch out the right people at the right time, then they have the upper hand. And likewise for Team Humpers, if they have the Lance, Rona, and Reza, right? That is triple dive that they can put against everybody or anybody who is caught out, or just be Kinetic, because she's gonna be the squishiest one. And I think if they can coordinate their team of Team Humpers, as it seems we're already into the game.
Sorry about that,
Let's
folks.
go.
We were a little bit slow on starting the stream, but it looks like there was a big invade coming through from the side of the Humpers.
It seems both teams are level 2 though. Reza gonna be level 3 pretty soon. So I'm guessing there might have been an invade at level 2.
Yeah, there
But
might have been an impade. A little bit hard to tell. We'll have to wait and see. Perhaps the goal difference, if we're able to see that pretty soon, is going to tell us. But Bits is being a little bit aggressive here. He lands the root onto Ultia with that Reza. And now this is just a 2v3. The Rona's a little bit late to rotate. Bits is extremely low. The impale only lands onto Rio, who's their support. Bits is just going to walk away. He roots 2. Is he going to get away? Yes, he still has his boots. Bits with that escapability. Reza only has 1 dash left. I think they're going to try to invade off of the back of this and at least get this front healing tree. And that was a... Oh, and the Lance looks like he lands the impale and the stun onto Bits. Bits probably was just trying to recall into that bush and does go down. You hate to see it. Rio now is maybe a little bit mispositioned, and Amato jumps in, a huge jump from that Rona with that burst, but Bits comes back absolutely full health, and he's going to be rooted himself. Root a stun into a root. Now everybody is low on the side of the Humpers, and finally Ultia goes down. You have a full health kinetic and almost a full health on the Bits. Amato's a little bit caught out, not exactly sure what's going on, if we can even see the mini-map. Yep, the Lance does end up going down. Probably the Rona's going to go down too, and that was a long extended team fight with a bunch of kills happening on both sides.
Oh, that was a lot of events happening really quickly. I could have said like, wow, that was such a good engage. You know, really played well from Kusami and his team Humpers. But then they just overstayed. You know, even if you are stronger, you gotta know that sometimes the respawn timers, they're really low. And with the damage, as Reza gets another kill, Rhyme going down, yeah, now things are back to even.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Gumpy. Things look like they're back to even, and look, they're just doing a little bit more aggression again. Reza's just, he still feels like he's stronger, even though they ended up dying there. But like you said, maybe that was just a little bit of an overextension, but they still feel like they're the ones that are going to be in control of that jungle.
I think Reza in general, if he can play around the roots, you know, from Rhyme, if he can play around the spires with his dashes, I think he's going to do just fine, which is why we see so much confidence and aggression coming out from Reza. Because he knows that if he has the mechanics to back it up for it, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, and there we go. It looks like the Rona gets a kill onto the kinetic in lane. That's not something that you really want to see. Just probably the Lance landed a root. We're not exactly sure what happened there. But now it just looks like the Rona and the Lance are up in the lane, along with the 2 heroes from Rhankit. Things are slowing down just a little bit. Reza just keeps rotating around the jungle, but there they are. The stun comes through. Everything comes through onto Ultia, but he doesn't care. He just keeps walking into and trying to steal that front healing tree, but instead it goes onto the Rhyme. It's absolutely beautiful Spire by the Rhyme to steal away his own healing tree. And the Reza uses the ultimate, but it's directly into the stun. Bitch has to back off on the Rhyme, but Kinetic shows up just in time. Amato has that spin to win on the Rona. They're trying to take the Crystal Sentry, but boy does that Crystal Sentry hurt when you're only level 6. Ultia is now a little bit low. That the Crystal Sentry does end up going down. Everybody is high enough. The Crystal Sentry goes down to the Rona. Rona, with that Crystal Sentry and the extra damage, is going to be able to just explode anyone, and that's going to have to be respected by the side of Rhankit.
We can see like how, as a take Goldmine here, another fight might break out right away.
Wow. That's that extra damage coming through from the Rona. They try to go in and contest this gold miner, but they're just instantly bursted down. This is very, very quickly turning over to the side of Humpers.
Yeah, it almost feels like maybe Team Rhankit could have played it a little bit better. Like sometimes they get it really well, like the Grace, you know, when she stuns Reza and his ultimates. But you don't want to overextend that much. You gotta respect as... Oh.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I was saying you gotta respect the burst from the Reza, which is no joke at all. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Now the Reza also has the Spellfire, and that's going to be very strong against the Grace and also the fortified health of the Rhyme. Rona's going through, and looks like the Rona was just trying to steal a little bit of farm. I'm not sure if she ended up getting anything, and the Impale misses everybody. The Grace, the Grace Beat comes through and tries to get a stun, but that's just a little bit of the teams poking each other. Nothing really to see here, folks.
Yep. Pretty good play, and I think that Team Rhankit, right, the Reza is gonna struggle. If Grace and Rhyme can chain CC against the Reza, because he's the one engaging, I think that Reza's gonna struggle quite well without a reflex.
And there's a huge amount of burst coming down with the Reza once he lands that fire starter, but the Rhyme lands the stun onto the Reza. It did land and it did hit, but the Reza just has too much burst and he takes out that Rhyme.
Yeah, we can see the root. You know, it does work. It's just the damage is not there. Reza is a bit too far ahead, and you wouldn't want to be there just giving kills over like this. Good job from the team of Humpers. You can see the aggression, right? They want to live inside their jungle, and they're gonna go right away to the gold miner, perhaps start it, and yeah, the clear is pretty quick. This, I believe, is a leash. Yeah, there we go. Quick gold miner. I don't think it's gonna be contested too much, and that is even more gold.
285 gold going on to the side of Humpers. I haven't seen the gold screen in a little while, so I'm not sure how far ahead they are, but I would expect close to 1k a minute at the rate they're going.
Yep, I could definitely see that. Although Rhyme has been getting, as it just gets stolen, I was just gonna say Rhyme has been getting some of the jungle treants secured, but good job on Lance for being a nuisance as well and stealing some of those treants.
And there we go, clearing out a little bit of that vision. Once again, they're going onto those backs. There we go. The Rona just goes in, and then we see a huge ult coming out. They're splitting the damage on the side of Humpers, but it doesn't matter. They're so far ahead that each carry can go for a completely different hero, and they can still get both kills. The Impale lands onto the Grace. The Grace is going to get out. Ultia? One more? He goes down. I mean, the kill does end up going onto the Grace, so at least there's that, but he didn't need to die there.
Yep, I think that was just classic overstay. Again, maybe too much tanking under the turret. Could have preferred to have Lance tanking instead, but we see Ryan, you know, trying to maybe catch them out, but he's kind of like an old man. He's not very fast,
Yeah.
and eventually they get away.
Well, you know, Lance with that Githian wall would just lands a two-man stun. If he doesn't land that stun, I think he still gets away, but that really just secured it. Lance, with a peel with the Githian stun and even the Impale sometimes, it's really hard to engage if you don't have a dash, which Rhyme does not have.
There we go. I believe we just saw the gold difference. I believe that's 5k. So pretty solid. Not the greatest snowball in the world, but it is definitely a good lead that they can work with. And if you're Reza, any lead is a good lead.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the difference in how they're building this game versus the last game. As they do start this gold miner, the Valkyrie comes down from the side of the Rhankit, but it doesn't end up stealing the gold mine, and now the Grace is just completely caught out. There's an extra 250 gold on top of the 1200 gold that they got from the gold miner, so it's going to be another 1500 added onto it as they go for this Crystal Century.
Well, there we go. Ryan getting caught out. Beautiful Impale. Gotta say, Lance is playing really well. The Crucibles, the Impales are on point. Really well played from him in this game. I gotta say. And here we see Reza maybe looking for another kill, but also a bit far because the choke point turret is still up, and I don't think they can do much here. So it's gonna be either another gold miner, or sentry, or just wait till Kraken.
Yeah, I just, you know, the Rhyme is one of those heroes where he wants to go in and get on top of your carries, but Rona's just fine with that. Rona says, okay, come on me. If you come on to me, I'll just burst you harder than you can burst me. And Reza, he can just dash away if Rhyme tries to get on, and Reza's always going to be able to engage on his terms. So perhaps the Rhyme was a little bit of a comfort pick for bits, but so far it doesn't seem to be working out.
Well, as we can see by their backs, they know that they won't just engage onto the turret. Perhaps they've learned that maybe overstaying might not be the best thing for them. And they know that as long as they just live inside the enemy jungle, right, they can just await the Kraken, and no need to really overextend, you know, push under turrets just to get a kill.
Yep, that's right. Well, it was a 9,000 gold difference just a moment ago. We'll see the size of this payout. Yeah, that's going to be another 700, so we're probably at about a 10k gold difference now. Is there any chance for the side of Rhankit? And if so, how do they pull out a win?
Well, I guess, again, Chain CC, Reza, eventually he would fall a little bit, but I don't know. They might just be too far ahead. as we see another fight breaking out right here.
A huge Rudagithian wall into the stun. The Valkyrie comes out. It's a two-man stun onto the side of Humpers, but it doesn't matter. There's already a kill that's gone down onto the Rhyme. Ulti is taking turret shots just for fun at this point. And yeah, they're able to do whatever they want on the map. The Kraken's going to spawn in 15 seconds from right now. I think that they're just going to rotate over there and take it and try to push for the win.
Yep. As we see the Reza, he's really hungry. He really wants to dash in for it. But they just want to get the choke point, because I think that is better than just taking Kraken and then giving over too much.
And there we go. They're actually engaging underneath the turrets, but no, they're just pushing the enemy team back. They're pushing back Rhankit. Humpers then is going to push that choke point turret, push the enemy team back, maybe take a little bit of jungle on their way through, and probably start the Kraken immediately.
Yep, there we go. Play the macro instead, right? There's no need to overextend just to get some kills under turret. You just take their farm instead, wait for Kraken. You're just so far ahead. You know,
Yeah.
no need. You can just play it chill and just play it for macro.
And Rona was just soloing that Kraken for about 10 seconds. They're at the point where they're not even worried about Rhankit trying to engage.
Yep. So now that the choke point turret is down, this Kraken will be very dangerous. If any kill goes down from Rhankit, I think that would just be the game. As they take sentry as well, very good macro decision. And then you just want to rotate up right after the sentry. That is pretty well done.
Well, this is going to... Oh, then a big giant war treads come through. Now we tried to see the Frozen Spire comes up to slow down the engage, which it maybe ends up doing a tiny bit. Rez is just being a little bit annoying, distracting the Kestrel a little bit. I'm not sure they have to be this aggressive. I'm not sure why they're taking all of this poke. But, you know, it was a good try for the engage. Rez is going to get a little bit of a barrier and go right back in here. The Kraken's wailing down on the bottom base turret. The side of Rhankit doesn't even have that much damage. The Valkyrie comes down, and it does end up being blocked, and Rhyme is just instantly bursted out. The Kestrel goes down, or the Kinetic goes down as well. Rio's left alive. He uses the heal on himself. Ulti is just going to stand there and keep him in base as the Rona tears through that Crystal, and that was a very quick and one-sided game. 2-0. Humpers are going to move on to the quarterfinals.